Welcome back, everybody's Latin's Fight Picks. Today we will go over the fight card, Cannonier versus Imavov for this Saturday, June 8th. It is Friday evening. This is coming out really late. Apologies to everybody. This is as early as I can get it out. I'm just trying to get it out, period. It's been a busy week. I haven't had a lot of times to do the analysis, but the analysis got done this morning, and then it was just a matter of finding time to sit down and present it. So as usual, we will go over the fight card from the first fight to the main event. So let's start and keep this quick for you guys. First fight, Rayana dos Santos versus Puja Tomar. Rayana dos Santos, 5'2", 62-inch reach, 14 wins, 7 losses, 28 years old. Puja Tomar, 5'1", no reach, 8 wins, 4 losses, 30 years old. Puja Tomar, she's an Indian fighter. She's 5'1". I don't even think she's 5'1". I saw a fight on YouTube, and it said she was 4'9". So I think it was 4'9", or was it 4'11"? Anyways, it was below 5 feet. You know, she's technically a midget. So are we allowed to say midget? Small person? She's technically a tiny person. So Rayana dos Santos is actually on the small side. She's fighting in the 115. This girl could fight at 110 in kind of the Atom division. She's a tiny girl as well. Here's the thing. From what I saw, Puja looked great against the competition that she was fighting in India. I don't think the MMA game is at a high level there. You know, Rayana dos Santos, she fights in Brazil. There's a lot of high-level Brazilian fighters. The level and the bar is very high. So there's not much to really say about this. I think dos Santos has been exposed to the better competition, the better training, and she's not bad. She's definitely probably the lowest level tier in the UFC, which is why the UFC is setting up Puja to fight the lowest level tier, and maybe she'll survive this. And if she does, then they've got an Indian fighter to market in that area of the world. But you know, the line's been growing. I remember I got in at like minus 260, and it's now minus 360, and for a good reason. I mean, Puja's not a proven fighter. She's lost 4 fights. Yeah, there's not much to say. She hasn't fought someone at the level of dos Santos on the ground, etc. Dos Santos is going to be the pick. High level of confidence. Moving on. Next fight. Cody Stamann versus Taylor Lapilus. Cody Stamann, 5'6", 64.5-inch reach, 21 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw, 34 years old. Taylor Lapilus, 5'6", 73-inch reach, 19 wins, 4 losses, 0 draw, 32 years old. I mean, they're the same height. You know, I think Stamann's probably not quite 5'6". He is kind of short, but he's got these super short arms. 64.5 inches is extra short. And then you got Lapilus with these extra long arms. I mean, who has 73-inch arms when there's like 5'6"? I mean, technically he's 66 inches, and his arms are 70, and wingspan is 73 inches. So, I mean, that usually your wingspan is the same as your height. So, and yeah, so Stamann's a little on the short side, and Lapilus is on the very long side. I went back and forth on this one. I mean, at first, I wanted to pick Lapilus. He's got great striking, good footwork, good takedown defense. And he did really well against Basharat, but Basharat did just enough to take him to the ground. Basharat is a lot taller, was taller than Lapilus, a lot taller than Stamann. Pretty good takedowns to keep it competitive on the feet. Stamann, you know what? He seems really strong. He's really stout. He's got good blast takedowns, but guys who can defend it, he doesn't do very well against. But he's very, very durable. He's very tough. It's hard to take this guy out. He's got powerful striking. He's pretty fast. He actually has pretty good movement. He can avoid some strikes. He doesn't keep his head on the center line. and he's got pretty good striking overall. So he's a wrestler that can strike, and he's very durable, very stout. He's very explosive. Now, this is a coin flip fight, and this is where I might have a different take on it. Lapalus is minus 280. Cody Stamann is plus 230. I can't go with Lapalus. I mean, at minus 280. I think there's a true, Stamann has a true opportunity to win this fight. He's fought the higher level competition. He's ranked higher. Lapalus is well, I mean, that's not end all be all, but yes, he's ranked higher. He's fought the higher level competition. Cody Stamann, he's only lost against the highest level competition. He beats everyone else below that. We don't know where Lapalus is. He's 32 years old. He's in the UFC. Yes, he's very good. Yes, he's very dynamic. The last guy he fought was Logan, was that Irish guy. Well, just before Basharat, he fought the Irish guy. And that Irish guy, who was a brand new newcomer to the UFC, who's UFC level, but I don't think he's at a super high level. I think he definitely got a lot to work on. Took one of the rounds from him. I mean, he basically won the second round. And then he just wrestled him. He just out-wrestled him, just held him down, out-wrestled him. Basharat did the same thing. Now, I don't know why we don't think Stamann is going to do the same thing. Do you think that Logan, was it Logran? Is it Luran? I don't know. He's Irish, but did they get Lugran? Is he a better wrestler than Cody Stamann? I don't think so. And I think Cody Stamann has fought a super high level competition. So if this guy could take one round from Lapalus, I'm willing to bet that Stamann could take two. So Stamann's going to be the bet. He is a huge underdog. I think I don't know. Stamann lost the last fight against a really, really game. What's his name? This is why I have the computer all ready to go. He fought Silva de Andrade, and he lost. And it was close, but he really poured it on at the third round. So he's got a good gas tank. And I remember that he had a hard time making weight, and he was going to move up to featherweight. But if he can make weight, he's very, very big for the division, very powerful. Yeah, I think that he's going to be a good underdog to take here. Low level confidence, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be. I think he can steal. I think he can put Lapalus on the ground long enough to steal these rounds, and he can strike too. Moving on, Eduarda Mora versus Denise Gomez. Eduarda Mora, 5'6", 67 inch reach, 10 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws, 30 years old, versus Denise Gomez, 5'2", 63 inch reach, 8 wins, 3 losses, 24 years old. I saw Eduarda fight. She fought really. She has fought nobody as far as competition goes. She's 10-0. The two people she fought in the UFC are like 5 feet tall or 4'11". They're the smallest, weakest girls. One was Dana White Contender Series. She's like 4'11". Then he fought Montserrat, and she's not 5'1", but she's 5 feet tall, maybe. So she fought the lowest level competition, and she dominated them. So what does that tell you? That doesn't tell you a lot. She dominated the lowest level competition of girls. And there was moments in Montserrat where she was trying to reverse Mara, and she actually had some pretty good technique, and she almost did. But Mara, I don't even know how she gets down to 115. This girl is huge. Like, she is very, very big. I don't even know how she cuts that weight. 5'6", she's built like a brick, you know what? And then and she cuts down to 115. She's huge for the division, which worries me because Denise Gomes is actually small. She's a small person, but she is powerful, and she's got heavy hands and good striking. And she has been susceptible to girls to take her down and keep her on the ground. And here's the thing: where's Eduarda? Maybe it's Eduardo, we don't know. Eduarda Mora at? How good is she? I mean, the people she kept on the ground and dominated weren't that good. So is she that much better than them, where when she does that, she could do that to some degree to Gomes? Or we don't know. I mean, we don't know. So she's a pretty big favorite. Denise Gomes has surprised me every step of the way. She's fought the higher level competition, and I think she's always working on her takedown defense and getting back up. And she's got great hands. And I saw Eduardo Mora fight and throw hands with Montserrat. She looked terrible. So, but she's huge. She's a big girl. She might be able to lie on top of Gomes and then win rounds that way. Yes, that could happen. But I'm going to go with Gomes with the devil I know, because I know she's explosive. She is powerful. She's 24 years old. I imagine she's always getting better. Eduardo Mora, there's too many questions, you know, and I don't even know how her weight cut's going to go, like to 115. You know, yeah. Denise Gomes just gave Hill a handful, even though I had money on Hill. Hill did win that fight. Hill is top level. I mean, and Gomes to come in there and be competitive and be a danger to Hill on the feet. I mean, I think she's going to clip Mora. I'll tell you that much. I think I'm going to go with Gomes on this one. It's a dog shot. You're going to find that's a big theme for this card. Is just these fights are so, either there's so many unknowns, so many new people, or you know, they're so close that you know, given these odds, like, it's not just about odds. I actually think she has a chance to win, but I don't want to have money on Mora at minus 190, you know, and then have her lose, you know. Gomes is going to be the pick. Moving on, John Castaneda versus Daniel Marcos. John Castaneda, 5'6", 71 inch reach, 21 wins, 6 losses, 32 years old. Daniel Marcos, 5'7", 69 inch reach, 15 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws, 31 years old. Daniel Marcos, I mean, he's got a 0 there for losses, but I remember I bet against him with Davy Grant, dangerous Davy Grant, and actually I think Davy Grant won that fight, but in a split decision they gave it to Marcos. You know, I don't think Marcos won that fight, but it was close. So yeah, he has a knack for winning these fights. He's a very good striker, good from the outside, good kicks, you know, good takedown defense. And he's fighting a guy in John Castaneda who's good on the outside, good kicks, good strikes, has the ability to take people down. Now, he might have an ability to take Marcos down. I don't know how long he's going to be able to hold him down. I've seen Castaneda get frustrated and lose a fight, and just kind of just, if you put a lot of pressure on him, he could break. And he saw that with what's that, Wiley Cat, when he fought Wiley Cat. You know, he actually got tired of trying to put Wiley Cat out, because he knocked him down a few times and kicked him in the head, and the guy kept coming, and eventually he just wore down Castaneda and ended up knocking him out. I think this is going to be a fight that's going to play out on the feet. I don't think Castaneda's faster than Daniel Marcos. I think Daniel Marcos is easily as fast, maybe faster. It's going to have the longer reach by a couple of inches. Oh no, Castaneda's got the longer reach, eh? Oh, that's not good. Nevertheless, I think Daniel Marcos has fought the higher level competition, that's for sure. Just fighting David Grant himself, I think, was something, because I think he's definitely a good fighter. I think it's going to be a good fight. Marcos is the favorite, slight favorite. I'm going to go with Marcos on this one. I like Castaneda. I just don't know how Castaneda is going to do against the higher level competition now. So I think up to now he's been able to treat all the lower level competition pretty handily, beat them pretty handily. But Daniel Marcos is going to be the pick on this one. Moving on, Andrea Lee versus Montana De La Rosa. Andrea Lee, 5'6", 69.5 inch reach, 13 wins, 9 losses, 35 years old. Montana De La Rosa, 5'7", 68 inch reach, 12 wins, 9 losses, 1 draw, 29 years old. I mean, Andrea Lee's at the tail end of her career. She is slowing down a little bit. She's just a really solid kind of journeyman fighter. You know, you're not going to knock her out. You're not going to submit her. I mean, for the most part, it's very hard to do this. She's consistent. She's kind of fights in one gear. She's nothing explosive, but she is pretty good on the ground as well. She's a decent striker. This fight's going to be so close. It's going to be a split decision. Andrea Lee already fought Montana De La Rosa a few years ago. Montana De La Rosa has improved since then. So it was a close fight then, but well, not super close. Lee won Not well, it was decisively, as in she did win for sure, but it was still a relatively close fight. This is going to be even closer now that De La Rosa has improved. I still don't think De La Rosa's striking is stellar. JG Aldrich proved it the last time where they threw the same amount of strikes, but De La Rosa just took a pounding. In reality, just she was all beat up and everything else, bleeding in the face, and yeah. So here's the thing: is Andrea Lee's hard to bet on, but I have no choice but to bet on her in this one because I still think we're going to see about the same fight. She's going to edge her out. It's going to be super close. Going to pick Andrea Lee. She's minus 170. I mean, that's pretty big odds for Andrea Lee considering how close it's going to be. But I just can't bet on De La Rosa. I just, I mean, this and Andrea Lee has let me down before. So stick with Andrea Lee. Low confidence. Moving on, Brad Katona to Jesse Butler. Brad Katona, 5'6", 64.5-inch reach, 15 wins, 3 losses, 32 years old. Jesse Butler, 5'10", 73-inch reach, 12 wins, 5 losses, 32 years old. I don't even know why they have this fight, but Jesse Butler probably signed a four-fight contract because I think he fought at the last minute last time and they just brought anybody in to fight Jim Miller. And Jim Miller knocked him out in 30 seconds, if it was 30 seconds. He's not the UFC level. Brad Katona is barely UFC level. Brad Katona is still going to put it on him. He's durable. He's tough. He's hard to knock out. So he's not going to get knocked out. He's pretty good on the ground. He's not going to get submitted. Brad Katona is going to win this fight. I don't even know how dominant. We haven't really seen Butler in the UFC. He's been okay on the regional scene. Brad Katona is, like I said, a pretty low-level UFC fighter, but he should win this fairly easily. High level of confidence, Brad Katona is going to win this. Don't want to waste too much time on this one. Moving on, Charles Radke versus Carlos Prates. Charles Radke, 5'9", 72-inch reach, 9 wins, 3 losses, 33 years old. Carlos Prates, 6'1", 78-inch reach, 18 wins, 6 losses, 30 years old. Prates has got 6-inch reach advantage. He's a really good striker. Fights long, kicks, very durable, can take a punch. Charles Radke, he's not 5'9". He's 6 feet. He's 5'11" or 6 feet tall. So I don't know why they keep saying he's 5'9". I've seen him stand up against other fighters. There's no way he's 5'9". He's at least 5'11", 6 feet tall. So, and which would make sense because he's 72-inch reach, and 72-inch reach is 6 feet. So that would be about right. It's totally misleading whenever you see that. Charles Radke, I've never really been super impressed. And the last guy he beat Herbina. Now, he handled Herbina fairly easily, but Herbina's not a good fighter. So it wasn't like, even though I'd bet on Herbina because I saw how bad Radke did against Blood Diamond. Now, granted, he said, it wasn't the perfect fight, yada, 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 all the way in Australia, whatever excuse he was making. And he looked really good and really tough against Urbina. That's not saying much, but he's got a really good lead left hook. And Carlos Prates is susceptible to that because he has his right hand really low. I think one of them is I think Prates is a southpaw. So, and I know when he was fighting Giles, I had money on Giles, and Giles was beating Prates. And if Prates did not knock out Giles, Giles was going to win that fight. But Giles is a very high-level striker. Very high-level striker, very good boxer, way better than Radke. Radke might be more durable, yes, for sure. I don't know if he's got more power. He's not nearly the striker that Giles is. What do we got here? Doesn't say if he's left. Is he left? Striker. No, it doesn't say on this one. Yeah, so going on. Prates is going to be longer. He's going to be able to strike. I think he's going to be able to catch Radke coming in. Radke has got the perfect shot to actually clip Prates. I think Prates can take a shot, So I'm not thinking that he's going to be able to get knocked out by Radke. I think we're going to see that where Radke is and what level he's at, and I think he's not going to be better than Pratis. I think Pratis is going to be able to hurt him coming in because Radke's always going to be moving forward and trying to catch him with that, lead left hook and that jab, and Pratis is going to be able to intercept him as he's coming in. So Pratis is going to be the pick. Next fight, the feature fight for the prelims: Thiago Moises versus Ludovic Klein. Thiago Moises, 5'9", 78.5-inch reach, 18 wins, 7 losses, 29 years old. Ludovic Klein, 5'7", 72.5-inch reach, 21 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 29 years old. Same age. Moises is taller. Klein's got longer arms, the big monkey arms. Ludovic is a striker. He could take people to the ground. He can wrestle. He can do it all. He's very well rounded. He's got some fast twitch muscles. I've always thought he was a little small for the division, but it seems like he does come through. He can take a lot of punishment. Thiago Moises, he's a pretty good striker. A lot of leg kicks. I don't know if they're going to really work on Klein, but Thiago Moises also likes to take people to the ground. When it comes to being on the ground, I think Moises is going to be the better BJJ guy. I don't know if he can control Ludovic Klein, because Ludovic Klein is pretty good at getting back up. Although you got Jai Herbert, who was taking down Ludovic Klein, and I'm wondering if Moises can strike well enough with Ludovic Klein and throw in enough takedowns where he's going to be able to steal these rounds, which is what I'm thinking is going to happen. I think Moises found a little bit of new life with he moved to the Fighting Nerds camp. And I think he was really disheartened after he lost that fight to, what's that French guy? Saint Denis. And Saint Denis just beat the crap out of him. And yeah, but, Saint Denis can do that to a lot of people. So I'm going to go with Moises on this one. I like Ludovic Klein. I think he's a little too short. I think there's only so far he's going to go up in this division. I think Moises is a little short for this division. I think he's fighting the perfect guy. They're about the same size. I think Moises can handle him on the ground. I think he can steal some rounds with that. It's going to be way better on the ground with him, even though Klein is decent on the ground. Don't get me wrong, he's good. But as far as the striking goes, Moises didn't seem that bad. He's got some pretty good kicks. I think overall Klein might have the better striking. But I think Moises is a pretty tough guy. I think he can pull this off. He's underdog. I'm going to go with Moises. And I think he's fought the way better competition. If you look at Ludovic Klein's competition, who did he fight? Cunningham last time? That one guy who just barely made it to the UFC. And you got Moises, who fought Saint Denis, who fought Joel Alvarez, and these are the guys he lost to. So the guys he's losing to by TKO are the top of the food chain kind of guys, right? And the guys like Giagos and Costa and Ramirez and lower level guys, he's winning against these guys. He fought Islam Makhachev, Alexander Hernandez. He beat Alexander Hernandez. Bobby Green beat Bobby Green. Michael Johnson beat Michael Jackson. Damir Ismagulov, who was top of the food chain, he lost a decision. He's fought the way better competition. So, all right, moving on to the main card. Let's do this. Miguel Baeza versus Punahale Soriano. Miguel Baeza, 6'2", 74.5-inch reach, 10 wins, 3 losses, 31 years old. Punahale Soriano, 5'11", 72.5-inch reach, 9 wins, 3 losses, 31 years old. Miguel Baeza seems like after he fought that one fight, he seemed like such, was it Hot Caramel? Is that what his nickname is? He seemed like such a big prospect, and I was really, really big on him. And then he just started losing a lot. And then he fought Ponzinibbio, and after Ponzinibbio, he's taken a lot of losses by Chaos. But then again, he got Chaos Williams. I think Andre Fiallo is the worst loss he took, but I think he just got caught with a few really good uppercuts from Fiallo. Fiallo, we know he has a bad chin, but we also know that he can throw some bombs. Not to say that Baez is not shinny, and I'm just saying that I don't think he takes as good a shot anymore. He can get hurt. Soriano does have a lot of power. Um, and I think that Baez is a pretty well-rounded guy. He's going to have the height advantage, going to have the reach advantage. I went back and forth on this one. At first I picked Soriano because I thought, you know what, he has the power. He's moving down to welterweight. So I actually didn't know that for right away. But when Baeza was coming back after like a 2-year layoff or whatever it is, I thought they were setting up Soriano to win or beat somebody that's on a losing streak that can possibly get KO'd, especially with a left hook. He's susceptible to that left hook, and I think Soriano throws a really powerful left hook. They really want Soriano to win. I just don't think Soriano is as talented as everyone thinks he is. He's very powerful, but I don't know. He seems like it's like a little bit of a mental issue. He gets disheartened if he can't knock you out. And the last time he fought Stoltzfus, and Stoltzfus should have been knocked out. The guy, he's fighting next, by the way. We're going to go over that. I mean, the guy's got an iron chin and just basically stood there and took all the shots from Soriano, and then Soriano just kind of got disheartened and tired. Punahale just never ever that guy. Here's the thing. Soriano's only going to beat Baeza by KO. That's it. Baez is going to be standing from the outside, going to be landing a lot of shots, a lot of leg kicks. He just got to make sure, and I think he knows this, that he's got to watch the left hand from Punahale and not to get knocked out. I originally picked Soriano, but when I found out that he's actually moving down to welterweight, I kind of flipped my pick back to Baeza because I think Baeza is a huge welterweight. I think Soriano's going down because he's fighting guys that are bigger than him at middleweight, but now he's fighting a guy who's bigger than him at welterweight. We don't know what he's going to look like at welterweight. He might be in better shape. Hard to tell how he's going to carry his power down. I just think kind of he's on his way out, you know. Yeah, one of these guys might be on their way out. I'm going to pick Baeza. I flipped my pick from Soriano to Baeza. He is the favorite, but I think he's going to pull this off, apart from me getting knocked out. We're working on, okay, next one. Julian Marquez versus Zachary Reese. Julian Marquez, 6'2", 72-inch reach, 9 wins, 4 losses, 0 draws. Zachary Reese, 6'4", 77-inch reach, 6 wins, 1 loss. Man, when Reese fought Brundage, everybody's on Reese. I bet on Brundage, and when Brundage slammed him and knocked him out, I was so happy. It was such a good bet. I mean, we don't even know anything about Zachary Reese. He's tall, he can strike, he's got good submissions. I mean, he was trying to get Brundage in what appeared to be a pretty good submission before he got slammed. I mean, who knows if he could have pulled it off or not pulled it off. So he is dangerous, but he's never fought really at a high level. Julian Marquez has definitely fought better guys, but he's got his problems. He usually goes in there, brawls. Last time he was trying to fight a more restrained fight. He did really well in the first round, and then he got tired. But he also fought the power bar. What was his name? Barrio. Who's a tough guy to fight because he just wears you down with his cardio, and Marquez is going to be the guy who's going to slow down after the first round. So it's just a matter of how fast he's going to slow down, and we don't know. Reese, I think, finished all his fights in the first round. We don't even know what he's going to look like. So it's going to be a good fight, but I think, you know, I got to go with Marquez. I got to go with the person that I know has some power. It's very durable. He's fought the better level competition. Zach Reese. It's hard to tell. He could just be nothing. He could be a nothing. He hasn't fought anyone. We don't even know. And the last time he got in there, he knocked out. We still don't know. But he is going to have a reach advantage. Marquez is a tough guy. He's going to think he's going to be able to get in there. And, yeah, I think he's going to be able to outmuscle him. He's just got to be careful. Marquez is going to be the pick. I don't know how to pick Reese on this one. I guess we'll find out more about Reese after this fight. Besides, Julian Marquez, he's got the coolest nickname, right? The Cuban Missile Crisis. How can you not bet on the Cuban Missile Crisis? Moving on, Bruno Ferreira versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Bruno Ferreira, 5'10", 72-inch reach, 11 wins, 1 loss, 31 years old. Dustin Stoltzfus, 6 feet tall, 75-inch reach, 15 wins, 5 losses, 32 years old. Dustin Stoltzfus is a guy who came in and he's kind of sucked and he's slow and he's supposedly good on the ground, but he's very durable. And you saw Punahele Soriano just tee off on this guy, and the guy took it, and then he kept coming and eventually got his back and got him on the ground and choked him because he's pretty good on the ground. He's a tough guy to fight because he's very durable. Bruno Ferreira, we don't know how durable he is. I mean, seems like he's fairly durable, but he did get KO'd by that one guy from Kazakhstan. What's his name? Just fought a couple of fights back. Ruziboyev. So, but it was kind of like Ruziboyev was really long for that division, and he kind of caught his kick and caught him off guard and punched him down and jumped on him and punched him. So, I mean, he seems like he's fairly durable, but he's got really good movement. So he comes in and out, really good movement, very powerful striking. He's a little short for the division. Yes. He's 5'10". I don't like him at this division. I think he should be at a lower level. Dustin Stoltzfus, a little taller, a little longer, is going to have the height and reach advantage. But Dustin Stoltzfus is slow. He throws his strikes slow. He takes a lot of punches. And I think Ferreira, even though Dustin Stoltzfus could withstand Soriano's power, Ferreira looks like he's got a little more power. And I can't see Stoltzfus weathering that storm. Even though if he does, going into the second round, after the, I'd start to worry. Going into the third round, I'd worry a lot because we haven't seen Ferreira really late, and Stoltzfus is the kind of guy just to be there. If you're not going to take him out, he's going to be there, and he's going to be trying, and he's going to be he's going to have the gas tank, he's going to have the durability. But I just can't bet on a guy who's so slow, keeps his head on the center line, has no movement, just basically takes the shots. And you got Ferreira with a lot of good in and out movement. He's going to catch him. Ferreira's going to be the pick. High level confidence. Moving on, Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Turcios. Raul Rosas Jr., 5'9", 67-inch reach, 8 wins, 1 loss, 19 years old. Ricky Turcios, 5'9", 71-inch reach, 13 wins, 3 losses, 30 years old. Ricky Turcios is going to have a fairly good reach as far as the striking goes. He's good on the ground. Raul Rosas is obviously really good on the ground. He did fight last time and he got a KO. Doesn't mean anything because the guy he fought was a guy, again, the UFC brought in previously to fight somebody at the last minute. He's not UFC level. And he fights out of the league in Alaska. And Rosas ended up knocking him out. Yes, he wasn't T. Mitchell. But I don't know what that really means, Before that, he lost against, Christian Rodriguez, who is an excellent fighter. And, I bet on him last time when he fought, West Coast Chopper, whatever East Coast Chopper, whatever that guy was. Nevertheless, Raul Rosas is going to be really strong on the ground. Ricky Turcios is pretty good on the ground. He's very creative. Raul Rosas did burn out when he basically blew his wad on Christian Rodriguez in the first round. He won the round against Christian Rodriguez, which is saying something because Christian Rodriguez is a really good on the ground. He's a good striker. He's a very good fighter, well-rounded. And then afterwards, as Rosas got tired, Christian Rodriguez took over and won that fight. Ricky Turcios, he's a little bit of a blowhard. I mean, if you listen to him talk, he's the best fighter in the world. He's not short of confidence. And last time he fought, he beat some pretty good wrestlers. He beat Heidstad in the UFC when they were in the Contender Series or whatever it was, when they were in that house. So he's beat some high-level wrestlers. So he had a split decision against Heidstad. He lost against Zahabi. I mean, I don't know. It's not, everyone's like, oh, you lost against Zahabi. Zahabi's really good striker, very good takedown defense, good on the ground. And you saw what he did to the last couple of guys. I mean, he KO'd him, and then he beat Basharat. I had money on Zahabi to beat Basharat. So that is not a bad loss. He beat Natividad, but it was a split decision. He didn't look really good in there, and everyone's there like, well, Natividad is not in the UFC anymore. But honestly, that Natividad didn't seem like a bad fighter. He's very short. He had powerful punches, good wrestler. I mean, he could be UFC level. I think he lost enough fights where they cut him, but I didn't think he was that bad of a fighter. Like, that was a split decision loss. It was too close. But yeah, I don't think it was a super bad loss. And my first initial pick was to Raul Rosas. But what do we still know about Raul Rosas? He's 19 years old. He just knocked out somebody who shouldn't be in the UFC. And he lost against Christian Rodriguez. So where does he fall into this level? Now, I think they've been trying to set him up with Ricky Turcios because they think he can beat Ricky Turcios because he's a really low tier kind of fighter. But Ricky Turcios could be, I mean, we don't know how he's going to show up. He could be showing up really good or really bad. We know he's durable. We know he can get clipped. I don't think Rosas is that great of a striker. He's very creative, and he's got a great gas tank. And this is going to be a back and forth fight on the ground. And Turcios does leave his neck open. You know, Raul Rosas could catch him. Yes. You know, I'm going to go with a dog shot in Ricky Turcios, and it's going to be a super low level confidence pick. And honestly, it's the least lowest level. So you could pick either one. I would pick either one. I'm going to put him in a spot on the board where I could pick either one. It's the last spot, but something strange can happen here, and Ricky Turcios can win the decision and beat Raul Rosas. Unfortunately, they want Raul Rosas to win, but it's up to Raul Rosas to win and Turcios to lose. So I'm going to pick Turcios, the lowest level confidence. Moving on, Dominic Reyes versus Dustin Jacoby. Dominic Reyes, 6'4", 77-inch reach. Dustin Jacoby, 6'3", 76-inch reach. By the way, Dominic Reyes, 12 wins, 4 losses, 34 years old. Dustin Jacoby, 19 wins, 8 losses, 1 draw, 36 years old. Everybody knows that Dominic Reyes goes in there, guns blazing, great striking. He can knock out anyone, but he's been knocked out so bad that his chin is gone. Yes, 100% agree. And I would always bet against this guy because somebody who's durable enough and can land a good strike and take this guy out. That could be Dustin Jacoby, but Dustin Jacoby does not look the same. He's 36 years old. He's a good striker, but he looked very, very chinny against Minifield. And he lost against Minifield. And Minifield was hurting this guy. I'm not saying Minifield doesn't have power, but so does Dominic Reyes. And Jacoby was tagging him up with a lot of pitter-patter shots and from distance. He's not going to have that distance to play with against Dominic Reyes. And Reyes is probably a little faster. I know Minifield was slow, and he was still actually touching up Jacoby. This is going to be a wild shot. I mean, this is kind of the theme of this whole fight is I really think Reyes can knock out Jacoby. I really do. I don't think Justin Jacoby looked good at all in this last fight. Yeah, I think Reyes is going to KO this guy. And for what it's worth, I mean, a lot of people are going in Jacoby, yes, and he is a huge favorite. But low-level confidence, I'm thinking Reyes is going to be able to land. And if he lands, he's going to KO Jacoby. He's a powerful striker. Jacoby has his chin, it looks like it's wearing out pretty quick. He looks like he's becoming chinny. So I think Dominic Reyes is going to put some pressure on him. And if he can withstand just a few small pitter-patter shots, he can KO Jacoby. Dominic Reyes is going to be the pick, low-level confidence. Moving on, Jared Cannonier. In French, it would be Cannonier. But I guess it's Americanized now. The American version of his name. Versus Nasruddin Imavov. Jared Cannonier, 5'11", 77.5-inch reach, 17 wins, 6 losses, 40 years old. This is the key. Imavov, 6'3", 75-inch reach, 13 wins, 4 losses, 29 years old. It's the age that's the only difference. If it wasn't 40 years old, you put Cannonier 2 years ago and he's 38, 37, where we're like, okay, for sure. Cannonier is an excellent fighter. He fought in the heavyweight division. He fought in the light heavyweight division. He fought in the middleweight division. He fought the best. And the only guys he's lost to is were the champs. He's lost to Whitaker, and he's lost to Adesanya. And he beat Strickland. Mind you, Strickland, when he fought Cannonier, didn't actually have his front leg kick going, and it was a close fight. But I don't think it was a bad decision. But Cannonier has shown that he can go 5 rounds. He's very durable. He does get clipped. He can get slightly wobbled. He recovers really quick. 40 years old. That's the only thing I'm really worried about. Nasruddin Imavov, he's very durable. I've never seen him get hurt. He's very long. He's very big. Even though the reach advantage is going to Cannonier, I think it's going to be roughly about the same, just because he's got the height and he's got the reach. It should level out. Imavov, is a little bit of a head case. I don't think he fights through all the game plans, and I don't think he's fought a really high level of competition. And I don't think the last guy he beat, is a high level competition. He's lost against Strickland, and Strickland took that fight on like a few days' notice, 7 days' notice maybe. And Cannonier has beaten Strickland, and I think, I'm going to go with the underdog because Cannonier is the underdog. I don't know. The age thing worries me. Because, like I was saying, with the Barboza fight, all of a sudden you could just look old. But he hasn't looked old yet. So I got to go with what I know. I think Cannonier is going to put a lot of pressure on him. Imavov doesn't fight well on the back foot. He fights really well on the front foot when he's coming forward, landing those T-kicks, kicking you, and controlling the distance. But Cannonier is going to go do what Strickland does. He's going to walk forward. As a matter of fact, against the Strickland fight, Cannonier was the one pressuring Strickland. Strickland wasn't walking forward. He does that against everybody, but he wasn't able to do that against Cannonier. That tells you something, that this guy's got a lot of power and respect when he comes into and takes the center. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think Imavov, is fairly talented, good on the ground, but I think Cannonier is going to have him on the back foot, going to put a lot of pressure on him. And I think he's going to be able to win this. It's going to be a 5-round fight. It's going to be a decision. I think Cannonier is going to take it. All right, let's go on the board. How's that look? Man, oh man. Look at that. Hurrah. Looky here. What we got? Man, there's a lot of underdogs in this one. All right, not financial advice. Only bet what you can afford to lose. This is gambling after all. We're doing educated / knowledge-based gambling, but this is a fight and a fist fight. You never know what's going to happen. Somebody can wake up in the wrong part of the bed that day and the whole fight changes, and that's it. You lost your money. So we're going to go from most confident to least confident. Katona, minus 725, not bettable. Don't do it. You could do it in a crazy parlay, but make sure it's not a lot of money because it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it, minus 725. Individually, don't bet it. That's crazy. But anyways, high level confidence. He's got to be able to beat Butler. Ferreira, I think he's going to be able to clip Stoltzfus. Stoltzfus is there to be hit. Ferreira's got a lot of power. You're going to see a big KO there. Practice, I think he's a new up-and-comer. I think Radke looked really good in his last fight. I don't think he's that good. He's going to come in, and this guy's going to clip him with a laser beam of, what is he, a right hand? Is he a lefty? No, a right hand. Is he right-handed? Yeah, I think he's left hand. Yeah, nevertheless. It's going to be a laser beam of a punch. It's going to knock out Radke. Moving on. Dos Santos. Yeah, she's going to fight that Punar, and I mean, yeah, she's not even that good, but who knows? I mean, I could be totally wrong. I've got her in a high level of confidence. Famous last words, but she should be able to win and beat that girl. Baeza, I'm counting on him. You know what? Normally I wouldn't put Baeza this high up in the confidence scale, but honestly, look at the board. Like, there's not a lot of confidence in a lot of these fights. Are so close, and I've picked a lot of underdogs. So this is a tough card to pick. I'm going to go with Baeza. Normally, if it's like a decent card where you can be fairly certain for certain fights, Baeza would never be up this high. But given everybody else, he's up here. So Baeza's going to be able to beat Soriano. And moving on. Lee, it's such a close fight, but I just think she's going to win. But given everything else, I mean, Lee shouldn't be up this high, but she is. Lee should win a close decision. Marcos, maybe I should have put Marcos there, if anything, ahead of Lee. But nevertheless, Marcos should be able to beat Castaneda. Marquez, he's fighting, again, unknown against Reese. Counting on him, having the veteran savvy to beat this guy. But we don't even know that a lot about the other guy. So we'll see. Cannonier, if anything, I should have moved Cannonier maybe up a little further, because I think he's going to win this fight. But I kind of got the underdogs all grouped in the lower level here. He is my first underdog, most confident underdog. Second most confident underdog is Moises. Moving on, Stamen, third most underdog, plus 230. Gomes, fourth most confident underdog as far as just the underdogs go. Reyes, another underdog. Again, this is going less and less confidence, by the way. And this one is Turquios and Rosas. Honestly, I had him pick. I kind of flipped to Turquios. This is truly a coin flip fight for me. I would easily, I have a bet on Rosas as well, just so you know. And then I have another bet on Turquios in a different parlay, just because these are the fights that, I thought he was going to do it. And I kind of go on with him just after I looked at it, and I thought he might have a chance at plus 190. But this is the fight where, if I'm going to pick, my final pick will be Turquios, but I do have a bet on both ways on this one. But everyone else is pretty much the way it is. Again, take this and compare it to what you have in your notes, and do your own research and figure out how you want to play this. This is a tough card to predict. There's going to be a lot of underdogs winning. I don't know if they're my underdogs, but if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I've got 6 underdogs out of 14 fights. So that's like 40%. It is what it is. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. So yeah, it is what it is. That's what I'm seeing. Like, I looked at it afterwards. I go, these picks are kind of crazy. On an individual basis, you're kind of going through it, and then when you look at it overall, I'm just like, this is crazy. I mean, I'm hoping they all hit. I mean, that'd be a fantastic run. 6 underdogs. Be careful out there. So I'm just telling you what I'm thinking. So again, do your own research, compare it to what you think. Leave a comment in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know where you disagree. I'm curious. I'm not going to switch the bets, but let's see what happens. I love the conversation. And also, if you like the content, hit like, subscribe if you want to be notified the next time the video comes out, and because sometimes it just comes out at all kinds of times. Otherwise, good luck on the fights, everybody, and we will see you for the recap next week, and hopefully we will be high-fiving through the internet because everything hit. All right, have a great week, guys. weekend.